You know, we spend more than a decade of our lives in school, supposedly getting ready for the future. But what if the game we're all taught to play has almost nothing to do with life itself? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a pretty powerful critique of our education system, the idea that it's a simulator that's missing the most important part, reality. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of the frustration, doesn't it? We spend all these hours, all these years, on abstract problems, solving for X. But what about solving the real stuff? You know, like navigating your finances, finding a place to live, or just achieving some peace of mind. These are the skills that really matter, but they're so often left completely out of the curriculum. It really makes you wonder, what's the point of all this schooling?
All right, so to really get this critique, we have to look at the rules of the game itself. Let's take a peek inside the system and see how it actually defines what it means to learn. This brings us to a really powerful way of looking at it, thinking of education as a data upload. I mean, instead of this exciting, organic process of discovery, this view basically says it's something mechanical, just a one-way transfer of info straight into a student's brain, kind of like you load software onto a computer.
And here's how that upload usually works. Sound familiar? Step 1, you memorize the facts just long enough to get through the test. Step 2, you repeat it all on the exam. And then, step 3, well, once the test is over, you forget it. The whole argument here is that this cycle is all about temporary performance, not real, lasting understanding.
So a system like this whole data upload thing, it naturally creates a certain set of priorities. And what we see is that obedience, following the rules, giving the exact answer they expect, is often valued way more than actual curiosity. I mean, think about it. Asking why can really mess up the upload process, but just complying, that keeps everything running nice and smooth.
And that same logic, it applies to how we measure success too. The focus becomes all about the grades, that single letter, that number, instead of actual personal growth. All the emphasis is on hitting the score, not on the really valuable stuff, like struggling with a problem, learning from it, and actually developing as a person along the way.
Okay, so all of this leads to a pretty provocative question. If this whole system isn't always set up for the student's own growth, then who is it designed for? Who's actually winning this game?
So let's just ask it straight up. If students are kind of stuck in this loop of memorizing and then forgetting, who's really getting the benefit from this kind of system?
Well, according to the source material, the first part of the answer is political. A system that prizes obedience over curiosity is more likely to produce compliant citizens, people who are maybe a little less likely to question authority. The argument is that this works out well for governments that prefer stability over a ton of critical questions. Then there's the other side of the coin, the economy. The argument here is that this model is fantastic at producing a workforce that's trained to follow instructions and fit neatly into existing company structures. It creates reliable employees, followers, not necessarily innovators or independent thinkers.
But, and this is a big but, this critique isn't where the story ends. The message actually pivots from just analyzing the problem to empowerment. So, if the formal system has all these flaws, what does a real education even look like?
The very first step is just admitting a basic truth. Real life is messy. It's ambiguous, it's unpredictable. There are almost never four neat little options to choose from, and the right answer definitely isn't waiting for you in the back of a textbook.
And what that means is that real learning involves embracing the very things that school often punishes. It's about having the creativity to see a new way forward, the courage to take a risk and actually try it, and the resilience to learn from failure when, you inevitably stumble. It's just this continuous cycle of trying, failing, and learning all over again.
And this really brings us to the core message. This is not an argument for dropping out. Not at all. It's a call to take ownership of your own learning. Use the system, but don't let the system use you. See school as just one tool in your toolkit, but never ever let its rules define the boundaries of your own curiosity.
So here's the final takeaway. No matter what system you're in, your real education is always up to you. So think critically, question everything, and go out and actively pursue the knowledge that truly matters to you. That's the part of the simulation that you have to build for yourself.